In this video, I'm going to teach you how to cover your cake with fondant and some simple tricks that you can use to cover your fondant cakes. So the first thing I'm going to be doing now is to crumb coat my cake. So I'm just going to be using my butter cream to crumb coat my cake. The reason why I'm crumb coating my cake is to make sure that the crumb coating acts as a glue on my fondant. So if I don't do this, there is no way I'm going to be able to cover my cake with my fondant, because this crumb coating, it is acting as a glue. So I'm just going to be crumb coating my cake all around. So once I finish crumb coating my cake, I've already done my fondant. So I stored it inside a pack. I'm just going to be kneading this fondant till it is stretchy. So if you don't knead your fondant properly, your fondant is going to start breaking when you want to start covering your cakes. So one of the tricks of having a good fondant cake is for you to be able to knead your fondant properly. Make sure that your fondant is stretching. And another thing is your fondant recipe. So I have a video on my channel of how to make a good all-weather fondant recipe, so you can go through that video to see how I made this fondant. So I'm just going to be kneading it like this. Make sure you don't over knead also. If you also over knead, it's also going to be very difficult for you to cover it cover your cake with it. So after kneading, I'm just going to add my color, because I'm working with a cake that has pink color. So if you are working with a cake that has, let's say, both white and colored design, you should work with the white color first before proceeding to the other color, so that you don't stain your cake or you don't stain your fondant. So to get that neat work, just make sure to always work with your white colors first. Also, when you are working with your fondant, always make sure to put your corn flour on your surface or on the table, so that it will not stick to your table. So make sure to always put your corn flour. So in this cake, I'm going to be using paneling method. So we have two method of covering. We have full covering and we have paneling method. So I'm going to be using the paneling method for this cake. So for the paneling method, it's just like having a cover and a bottom. I don't know if you get it. So the bottom one, which is the top one, I just measured it, and I think it's 6 inches. The cake was normally 8 inches, but after trimming it gave me 6 inches. So I'm just going to be, this one is the round one, so I'm just going to measure it. I've already measured my cake, and I'm going to make sure that the 6 inches that I got from the cake is the same thing I'm going to use for this fondant. So you can see how I've rolled it out now. I'm just measuring it and I'm going to cut it with my pizza cutter. So after doing this, I'm just going to put it on top of the top. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a sharp edge board, which is a second board. I'm going to sprinkle my corn flour on it. Then I'm going to put it on top of this. So you will see what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to put it on top of the fondant that I just placed on the cake. Then I'm going to flip it. So just look at what I'm doing. So I put it on top of the cake. Then I'm just going to flip it downwards. So this is how to cover your cake with, or your fondant with, paneling method. When you hear paneling method, so I'm just going to be doing the other remaining side, and this is how I'm going to be rolling it. So I will measure my cake now. So I'm just going to measure my cake like this. So the height is 6 inches, while the width is 22 inches. So I'm just going to be using it to roll out my fondant. So to get accurate measurement, I'm just going to use my ruler to cut this out. So once I get my exact measurement, I'm just going to cover this. So I was supposed to rub my buttercream on it the second time. I forgot to do that. So the thing refused to gum on it. So I had to repeat it again. So I told you that this crumb coating is like a glue to it. So I just rubbed it now, and you see that once I place it again, it's just going to stick on it. So you can see how I carried it. I carried it like this. Then I will just, I've already looked for my back, like the back of the cake. So where the both parts came together is going to be the back. So you see I'm doing it. So I'm just going to take my smoother. I'm using two smoother for this. Then I'm just going to use it to cut it out. So once I cut it out, I'm just going to smoothen it. Then this is the main cocoa, like the main thing when we talk about fondant cake, this sharp edge. So to get your sharp edge, this is how you can get your sharp edge. You see what I am doing? I'm just using my smoother to bring out the excess. Like I'm just using it to bring out the excess. After doing that, then I'm just going to use my knife to cut them out. This is like the first time. I'm going to repeat this the second time, and I'm going to be very careful with it while cutting it. So this is how to get your sharp edge. You can see what I am doing. The camera is very close to it. So I'm just working on the body of the cake to make sure that it's very smooth. So when you are doing this, be very careful so that you don't cut your cake, because you can mistakenly cut your cake when you are doing this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cover my board. So to cover your board, I first of all clean my board. Then I'm using white to cover this board. I'm just going to clean my surface so that I don't stain my white color. So I'm just going to measure my board. My board is 10 inches. My board is 10 inches. Then I'm just going to roll out my white fondant. Then rolling it out is like the round type of that, the round shape. Then I'm just going to use it to cover my board. Before I place it on my board, I'm going to sprinkle water on it. So one of the tricks in having a very beautiful fondant cake is to make sure you cover your board. Do not expose your board like that. I see a lot of bakers exposing their board. Make sure to cover your board. It gives it that kind of classy look, kind of look. So I'm just going to cover my board right now. So I just rolled it out. Then I'm going to be cutting out the middle part where I will put my glucose, because I'm going to be placing my glucose at that center. So if your cake is traveling to a far place, fondant cakes, they normally take it to different places. If it's traveling to a far place, I would advise I will use royal icing for this. At this center where I will be placing my glucose, use royal icing for it. So another thing I'm going to be doing now is to cut out those edges. So the next thing is just to place my board on top of the cake. Make sure you get the middle part. Then I'm just going to flip it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to smoothen the body of my cake. So I'm just going to smoothen the body of my cake to make sure that everything is smooth. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to just do some kind of design depending on the picture you are working with. After working with your cake, you are just going to make sure that you design the board, like the some use what was it called now, rainbow. So I'm not going to be using rainbow. I'm just going to be using the gold, this golden thing to design it to give it that beautiful look. So the last thing, I will just rub vegetable oil on my cake just to dust it out and give it that beautiful and a shiny look. Thanks for watching.